Am I on?
You're on.
Okay, so welcome back. We're home, back in Charlotte. It is almost midnight, probably, and we came back around 10 o'clock tonight. So, overall, amazing trip. Did you enjoy Nashville?
I did, and I'm so glad I got to introduce you to my favorite city.
We did lots of things.
Lots of things.
I think we actually have a nice amount of things to show, and I think we might tell some little stories and bits in between, so maybe we should jump right into it.
Yep.
So, Mary told me before this trip, I was watching Heartbreak Hotel from the 80s, and I think I talked about Elvis, and Mary was like, I think that me and her are both going to change. What do you think?
Yep, we have a newfound appreciation.
You do like him, right?
Mm-hmm. I can see why he's one of the most influential people of the 20th century.
And we went to Studio B, so we learned a lot about him there, and of course in the Country Music Hall of Fame, and we were just kind of inspired. And I've always wanted this first album, so I decided to pick this up. I picked up 2 CDs from the Country Music Hall of Fame gift shop, which actually has cool stuff, right? Like good music and variety. It's
Definitely.
not just like touristy stuff. It's
And I was
music.
quite amazed that the people who run the record shop section there really know their stuff.
Yeah, and that's in like the store that you think touristy. So
Yeah.
So I got the Legacy Collection, Elvis Presley, and it comes with the CD. I want to get it on CD so we can listen to in the car and we listen to the first album. This comes with the first and the second studio albums from 55 and 56 and the year that rock and roll changed, they call it. And each one has the first and second album, and then it has like the 5 or 6 different singles. Since Mary, you were interested. Remember you were saying the thing about the singles you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, back when Elvis was just starting, they actually sold a lot more singles than they did albums. So record labels often focused on releasing singles. So Elvis has a lot of singles that were never released as part of albums. So he had many singles that might have had, platinum selling, hit those milestones, but then some of his other albums might only sell like 10,000 copies or something, which was good.
It was like the way that songs are done today, almost with MP3s and stuff.
It's like now you have people moving away from buying albums in the MP3 world to back to buying the single songs, and that's kind of the same way it was when Elvis was just starting out. It's kind of like we returned to that.
Sorry. Yeah, and Mary is reading this in the car. I was driving, so I couldn't, but there's a whole bunch of new liner notes in here when it came out. It looked pretty good. So, and then I got this, and I know you can't say much either can, but the guy remember the guy in the store we talked to had a big appreciation for him. And this is a guy I never heard of, so if someone knows him, I'd love to hear their opinion. John Prine. I think it's pronounced, but it should be Prine. And this is an album called, from his later on records, I think called The Missing Years, and I think that a lot of times they call it Jesus, The Missing Years, on his own label, Oh Boy. And there's a whole thing dedicated to him, like 2 sections in the Country Music Hall of Fame with all of his work and artifacts. And we found out from the guy, this is from 1991, we found out that supposedly he's very ill. And they said he has cancer, and I think that they're putting that up there for him because of that, and the time might come soon. But this guy supposedly this really singer-songwriter that gets a lot of credibility, but I've never even heard of him ever. So I'm really excited, and I was remember you told me I like controversial stuff. I was intrigued because he had a lot of fans, and looking back now, this album has acclaim, but I guess some people were taken aback by this album. So I thought it was really cool because they put an artifact in the Country Music Hall of Fame that had someone had written him a letter against him, and it showed this CD all broken up and cracked, and cracked this CD and put it in the mail and sent it to him as like a hate mail.
Yeah, they thought it was very sacrilegious, the writer.
No, I don't think that's what it was. Is that what you read? I didn't read any of the letter, but I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, I read the letter and he thought it was sacrilegious.
Okay, well,
by the lyrics.
The lyrics in here didn't look like they were. So, I mean, I don't think that's his vibe at all. I don't think that, I don't think we have to be worried about that. I don't think that's really what he's all about. So, but we'll see. But this guy supposedly is great. I think the guy in the store says he was whimsical and deep at the same time. So those are the 2 CDs we got. Jump into the records quickly. We were 5 minutes or something. So, first we went to Grimeys yesterday before we did a bunch of live music, which was cool too. There's a Grimeys and a Grimeys 2, which is TOO.
Right next door to each other.
Yeah, we didn't go to Grimeys at all just because I heard that Grimeys was just new and it's nothing that's used at all. And so I was looking more, of course, to spend a little bit more less than $1 because that adds up and long on its own.
What I loved about Grimeys too was that it also had used books, so I was able to enjoy my book section, and he was able to look through vinyl.
I thought this was a sticker. It's not, Mary.
Oh.
It's actually a bookmark.
Oh,
a big
cool.
one, you can use it. So so one's called Howlin' Books, which Mary was doing, reading on her phone today about the Rolling Stones, like, most influential artists, and she was like, who's this man, Howlin' Wolf? So I think Howlin' Wolf and Howlin' Books, I think they were kind of making a play off of him, since it's a music store. So, look, and then you have the other side here. It's like this random, I think it's all animals howling. So I think this is like a bookmark you can actually use, Mary.
Cool.
It's at howlinbooks.com. And that's in the same shop as Grimeys, which is a sticker. So I have this so I can put it on the record player. So here's what we got. I don't know if you can hear much at all. I'll kind of put it low. But this is, I got two, I'll show the two pieces of country I got. At the very end, I grabbed country because I was like, I have to grab country while we're here. I was so inspired from the day. So we got this, and we really like this. And you might not be able to hear in the background. We got a Kitty Wells album called Sincerely.
I'm really enjoying this, listening to it.
Me too. I really do. I think this is like the old, this is from the 70s, but it still sounds like the old school type of country. I think this is like the type of country I like.
Now, why was Kitty so important?
Are you asking me like I know, or are you just asking me if I know? Cause
if you know.
All I knew is that she was kind of like one of like the oldest people in the group. From what I know, only like is that, I mean, she was from the 50s, and she had a song called All Honky Tonks Don't Come From Angels, or something, or All Honky Tonk Angels Don't Come From God, or something. It was a big single in the 50s.
Wasn't she the one that defied, that there was an ongoing belief that women could not cut successful singles?
Oh, she was like the first to like chop the country charts female.
Exactly.
And she's like 6 in the line of the most, something with single. She has some sort of charting behind like Dolly Parton and Tammy Wynette and them, so she's up there.
She kind of proved that women could sell singles.
Yeah, and the songs are great.
Albums.
And I'm really excited. And I mean, all these songs are kind of like the country vibe that I'm starting to like about country. Like, they're all like really interesting stories. Like, It's 4 in the Morning is one. One's called My Hang Up Is You. They're all lovey-dovey, but they're very particular lyrics, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
I really like it. So we got that. And this other one, I don't know anything about it. It says the DJ copy. This one was only like $5. It says gospel country, and it said recorded in Folsom Prison. So I mean, that's what I think it says. And it looks like Folsom Prison's on the cover here. His name is Glenn Shirley. It's on a record label called Mega. There's a write-up on the back. It has his notes on the back actually also, and this is inside. See, it looks like these are like in. I think it's in Folsom. What? I mean, the guy wrote a note on here saying it's recorded in Folsom. Unfortunately, the stickers are pressed right on the record, but it's not big. It's not the biggest deal. What year? It's from Mega. I don't know what years it is. I've never seen this before though. But it's in perfect shape. I don't see a year, but it's heavy actually. It's really heavy, and it's just self-titled. But it says REC Folsom Prison, so I guess I have to look up why this is. But yeah, I mean, it looked really intriguing to me. So
very cool.
Glenn Shirley. I'm sure it'll be good. They're all like none of the songs are 3 minutes. They're all like 2 and change. So I'm guessing they're all going to kind of be like country ditties and gospel ditties. But I'm excited to look into that actually a lot. This is the one I paid the most for, which is a promo copy, white label promo, $10. A group or a guy called Star Drive with another guy called Robert Mason. It's Intergalactic Trot, and I looked it up on Google. I mean, online and stuff. It's from Elektra, 1973, and this is sort of like synthy, proggy, jazzy, progressive. And this is the white label promo. It actually says radio station copy on it. And if you can get a little zoom up of that, I know Dr. Deadwax, who's a friend of mine in the community, really likes this type of stuff. So, yeah, so I thought that was cool. It's just very proggy, and I like that type of stuff. I mean, the cover looks funky. I found this. I didn't even know this was released on vinyl. This is Laura Nero's Season of Lights, which is actually a live concert. And even though as much as I like her, I haven't diving back into her work in a while. But what I liked is that while she usually does this, it sounded rockin', and I didn't expect it. Like, there's a lot of live. It's from '77, but there's a lot of live musicians with her on stage. So I think it might give some of the music that's a little bit more quiet for her more of a little kick.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is, I always see this, and I thought it was a proggy type of album, so I got it. It's a band called Nectar, and the album is called A Tab in the Ocean. And I think it's just like progressive, prog rock, progressive music. It's from 1972 on Bellathon Records. On this one, this copy's on Passport. And it almost looks like this is, I think this is the woman's name was Trilene. I literally almost thought this was like part of the record sleeve. It was written so funny. It wasn't just, you know. So I got that one. I'm trying to go through these a little more quickly because I want to get to the other little batch from where we went to today. Is one more. 4 minutes
Left.
I got the signal. And then this is another one. I think it's more proggy type of stuff and like orchestration. It's really cool looking. The group is called Barclay James Harvest, and the record is called Octoberon. Amazing cover, huh? And yeah, 4 guys, 3 songs on one side, and then the other sample copy MCA, and it just sounded really cool. I was actually able to test some of the new records at this store. Before I go into the other quick records, want to show this?
Yeah.
This is a poster that we got from the oldest print shop in the country that's inside the building next to the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yep, we talked last video about how we got to tour the historic Studio B, where Elvis and many other famous people recorded a lot of their hits. It was the home to 1,000 hits. And so Hatch Printing Company is kind of one of those old-fashioned show printing companies who literally cuts the wood blocks and then paints it and rolls it over the paper to make the show sign. So they still do it to this day, and so we have an original show print right here of Studio B, and yeah, if you look closely you can see all the ink marks and stuff, and we're gonna frame it and hang it in our living room.
It's really cool
To kind of commemorate our favorite part of our trip.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then where do we go last? Oh.
The last place we went to was Third Man Records, and many of you may know that as Jack White from the White Stripes. He owns the place, and it's actually they actually do recordings there. They press vinyl there, and then they have this really cool kind of nostalgic novelty shop. Yep, and it's in the front of their recording studio. And they actually also have a music venue in there too. It's quite an interesting space. But in the nostalgia shop, they had brought in all of these old retro like little not like arcade machines, but there's actually a booth in there that for $15 you can go in and do a 45-second recording and then have it pressed. The machine. Yeah, it presses it on a 45, and you get it right there. And we tried to go do it today, but it was... the
needle was broken.
The needle was broken.
And then you get it repaired. But we did do the old school, real deal photography photo booth. That's like really old school, not the ones you see like in Chuck E. Cheese or anything.
Yep.
And these are our photos.
Yep.
I love the third one, the one with our little kiss. I think it looks really cute. And we're gonna say these things because we're gonna do a we have a scrapbook. So let me try to jump into these. What am I at? 3 minutes or less?
2.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Actually, more like 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, slip. Really cool. Really cool slip.
Awesome.
Mat.
Great.
They're doing a reissue of Sun. I'm gonna breeze through it. They're doing a reissue of Sun 45s, which is really cool. So I got Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I Walk the Line.
Cool.
That has the other B-side is Get Rhythm.
And they printed it right there in house.
And it has the Third Man little pressing on there as well. I got this because we saw it in the video on YouTube. It's a band from the 80s that was missing. No one had the record for like years and years, and they only had the slip casing. They're called the Underwear Heads.
The Underwear Heads.
Called Tangmania EP, and there's 6 songs, 3 on each side, and they're like 80s. I think they're kind of like new wave punk.
30
and this
seconds.
is like a thing they repressed that was missing from the years. So, and then I got 2 live ones. This is that they were playing this in the store, and I loved it. It was hillbilly rocking music.
Yep. Who is it?
A group called Dex Rom Weber Duo.
Awesome.
Dex Rom Weber Duo.
Very cool. Who's the other one? 10 seconds.
The 5, 6, 7, 8s.
5, 6, 7, 8s.
Live in the studio, like Kill Bill.
Like Kill Bill. All right, we are signing off.